Hi everyone. So now we're going to do a practice for hips. It's great to keep our hips open, to keep them flexible. That's the most important thing, to keep them strong, to keep the muscles around them strong so that we don't risk breaking a hip. If you step off of a step in the wrong way, perhaps, you can put your joints out of whack, but if your muscles are strong and supporting them, everything should stay in place. So I'm going to go right into the practice because I've already done some warming up and stretching and yoga this morning, but I would ask you to pause the video, do some warm-ups. You can look at any of my videos on YouTube under Yoga Bobbe for warm-ups, or your own, do your own. So then we'll get right into the practice. We're going to come to the top of the mat, forward fold, and step back to downward dog. Now keep your hips lifted nice and high, and then let your heels sink down. Feel that stretch in your legs. Spread your fingers. Let the whole hand come to the mat. Press down into your index fingers. Wrap your arms in toward your head. Pull your belly up to your spine. You can even wrap your ankles in toward each other. And then push into your hands. Transfer the weight back into your heels and let your heels come to the mat. And breathe. Glide forward into plank. Let your hips come down. You can stretch your hips out this way. Come back to downward dog. So down dog split. Lift your leg nice and high, right leg. Then bend the knee and bring the knee up toward the ceiling. So now your hips are turning toward the right side wall. You're looking under your right armpit, down the length of your body, up toward your knee. And see if you can wrap your left buttock under, get a little more twist in the hips. Breathe. So your hips are stacked. Think of them that way. Now you can look under your left armpit and see your foot back there. Come back so that your hips now face the mat and lift your leg again for that split. Bring that leg down. Take a breath. Now the left leg up for a nice split. Think about pushing in your hands so that your chest comes a little closer to your thigh. And then bend your knee. Let it make a half circle toward the ceiling. Stacking your hips on this side, wrapping your right buttock under, looking under your left armpit down the length of your body. Really think of opening your hips to the side wall. Maybe look under your right armpit and look for your foot. Come back, turning your hips toward the mat, lifting your legs straight up again for that split. And then bring that foot down. Drop down into table. Few cat-cow. Inhale on one, exhale on the other. Come back to table and slide your right foot forward. Now let the knee come over the ankle. One hand on either side of your foot. Tuck your left toes under and lift your knee so you have low lunge. And then look over to the right. Lift your right arm and really sink into this pose so you feel what's happening in the left hip. And the right hip is being worked as well. Come back, drop your knee, slide your right foot back to table. Slide your left foot forward. Knee over ankle, right toes tuck and knee lifts. And then shift your weight into your right hand as your left arm lifts up. Breathe. Push back into your right heel. Sink into the pose. Bring your hand down. Hold your lunge for another second. Drop your knee. Slide your foot back. Lift up to downward dog. So now we're going to come to pigeon. Lift your right leg, bend the knee, glide that knee forward toward your right wrist. Slide your left foot back. Knee to the floor and then toenails to the floor. Lift your heart and walk your hands back. And hold here in your king pigeon. Feel that stretch in the left thigh. If you want, you can clasp your hands behind your back. You can lift your arms. And here's something else to play with. Bring your hands down. Bring your right hand in front of your knee. Turn to the left. Bend your left knee. Reach for your ankle. And pull your heel in toward your body. So that's a real stretch for the groin, for the hip, for the thigh. Just something to play with. And breathe. And drop your foot back. Come into traditional pigeon. Walk forward. Now you can bring your hands one on top of the other to create a pillow, or you can stretch them out and bring your forehead to the mat. It's up to you. Wiggle your hips from side to side. Find the spot that's right in between and balance there. Take several breaths here. Let your left toe be pointed. Picture a straight line from your hip joint to your toe. And then walk your hands back. And tuck your left toes under. Release your right leg. Lift up into downward dog, and you can give that leg a little shake. Maybe circle the knee. Increase the fluid in your hip joint and back to downward dog. Then the left leg lifts. Bend your knee. Glide it up to your left wrist. Slide your right foot back. Bring your heart forward. Walk your hands back. Again, king pigeon. Any version of this that you like. And maybe try that other one, bending your knee, reaching back for your ankle, pulling your heel in toward your body. Breathe. This is a challenging pose. Drop down and come to your traditional pigeon. Remember, wiggle your hips back and forth. Find the spot in the middle. Settle down there. Sink into the pose. Breathe. Right leg is straight from the hip joint to the toe. A few more breaths. Keep breathing. And lift up. Tuck the right toes. Release your left leg. Maybe give it a shake. Maybe make some circles. Come back to downward dog. Walk your feet forward. Bring your feet right up to your hands. Heel toe your feet out to the side. Drop down into a squat. Hands behind you and sit. Bring your feet together. Come on down onto your back. So this is a variation now of bridge pose. Drop each knee out to its own side. Bring the soles of your feet together. Bound angle pose. Bend your elbows, point your fingertips up, tuck your shoulder blades under. Now press down into the sides of your feet and your upper arms and lift your hips up. So this is for that psoas muscle that wraps around your hips, right around your sacrum, around your hips, connects to the inner thigh. So you want that muscle. It's a big muscle. You want it to be strong and flexible. That really supports your hips. So hold this pose a little bit longer than usual. And then slowly come down, one vertebrae at a time, laying onto the mat. Bring your knees together up into your chest and roll around so you get a nice little massage for your lower back. And then drop over to one side, come up to seated position. Bring the soles of your feet together, so seated bound angle pose. Hold on to your ankles from the top. Lift your heart, and now bring your heart forward. So start off with a flat back. Go as far as you can with a flat back. Your elbows are going to push into your thighs, pushing them down toward the floor. You can feel that in your hips, I'm sure. And then come a little bit further forward. When you can go no further with a flat back, round in. Tuck your chin, let your back round. Now bring your forehead towards your toes. And just play with it, give it a chance. On every exhale, the muscles relax and stretch a little bit more, and you can fold a little bit deeper. Tuck your chin, come on back. Fire log pose. So, simple folded legs. One leg next to the other. Nice for your hips. This is really nice if you want to sit on a blanket. And then the blanket supports your sitting bones and you let your hips just spill slightly forward. Really opens through the hips. You can do that on a block too. So you see the nice opening here. Block is not as comfortable perhaps as a rug, so you decide. Or a blanket. So that's our series for the hips. Please do this twice a day if you can. If you have any hip issues, just listen to your body. But stick with it. Maybe you don't do it twice a day or every day. That's for you to decide. Bring your hands to prayer. Bow your head. Close your eyes. Make your intention for today and honor yourself.